So I wanted to film a really quick video on how to repress a powder or blush or bronzer or whatever you're using, any sort of a powder product that you've used to the point where it's just around the edges and you want to be able to get an even application on your brush. So you want to move it from the outside edges into the center. So what you're going to need your powder product, blush, whatever you're using. I'm going to just refer to the item as the powder from now on. You're going to need something to crush up the powder into smaller pieces. I'm up at the office right now, so I'm just using what I have. It's a little pen cap, so one side has more of a smaller point, and this side I can crush up a larger chunk of powder with this edge of it. I have a Sharpie as well, just to smash some more stuff up. I have some alcohol up here, and this is 70%. If you can find, I think they have like 90% isopropyl alcohol. If you can find that, use the one that's a higher percentage. And then I have some napkins, and then also something to smash it back down in. Again, I'm just up at the office, so I'm using a tape dispenser that has a flat edge. You just need something to where you can actually press into the spot. You could even get some cardboard and cut it into the shape just so you can press down into it so it's flat. So that's what I'm using. I'm going to try and switch to another angle. Okay guys, I actually just took the camera off of my stand and I'm just going to work right here, so hopefully you'll be able to see it slightly better. Okay, so what you want to do, first of all, you need to crush up all of the powder that's around the edges. So I'm just going to use anything. You can use anything, but I'm going to use my little pen cap. You just want to push it away from the edges. And this is a really soft powder, so it's actually kind of easy to do this. Make sure whatever you're using is clean. So if you need to go through and wash your pen cap or silverware or marker, whatever you're using to smush stuff up, that you go in and either disinfect it with alcohol or you wash it with some soap. So now you just want to go through and smash up the larger chunks into smaller chunks. And then you're going to be adding the alcohol to the mix. After you get everything smushed up so it's finely milled. This is kind of along the same lines as repressing an eyeshadow when it breaks. And obviously you might lose a little bit of your powder. I mean, I guess you could also use this with like this same method for eyeshadows and stuff, but alright, so I seem to be pretty crushed up. Now I'm just going to dump a tiny bit in here at a time. You can always add more in, but you can't really take it out. So what you need to do, just add a little bit in at a time, and you want to have the same consistency as maybe yogurt, like a really thick yogurt. You do not want this watery. Oh, I am gonna have a mess all over the desk, which is fine. I can always clean up a mess. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more. I mean, you could use chopsticks, you could use toothpicks. You could use whatever you have on hand, tweezers if they're clean. Make sure everything you're using is sterile. I'm trying to keep everything out of the edges. So you definitely want to work with the clumps and smush them down to the point where they're not big chunks in a bunch of liquid. I'm actually switching utensils here. Okay, this is where it's probably going to get a little messy. So, what you need to do is kind of move the product into the center of whatever you're working with. So I would just use your finger. Get it all from around the edges. Into one centralized location. I'm actually going to pause this and come back after I've put it all into one spot. I've left after I have smashed everything around from the outside. I literally just scooped it from my finger from around the edge and put it into the middle. It gets kind of messy, but I mean that's what you have to do if you want to press it back down flat. So we're going to try something. Get your paper towel, place it gently over the top of whatever you're using, like your powder, your blush. You can leave it as it is and just let it dry, but I'm going to try to actually press it back down. So I'm taking something with a flat edge. This is, like I said, just a tape dispenser, placing it over the top and just pressing it down. This helps to suck up some of the excess alcohol and also push it down so it doesn't just crumble off. Okay, and then your paper towel will obviously have a damp spot on it, and your powder will be pressed down into the pan again. Well, that's all I have. That concludes the video. Remember, after you repress your powder or blush or whatever, you need to let the product stay open for, I don't know, 24 hours, depending on how much product that you have in here. I would probably let it sit open like this for about a day, maybe 2 days if you have a lot of thick products, maybe that thick or something. Let that sit for 2 days. But I would let this sit for at least 24 hours open. Remember that you can spray it with alcohol before you use it to sanitize the product. And after you've broken a powder or anything, blush, you know, they do have a high chance of breaking again just because you can't press them down as firmly as they were pressed when you initially purchased them. So they do have a high risk of breaking again in the future, especially if you travel with them. If you repress a powder, I do not suggest traveling with them. Just leave them in your drawer and use them at your home. But that's all I have for you, and hopefully this helped a little bit and maybe you learned something. I don't know. Let me know down below what your guys' tips and tricks are for repressing eyeshadows and powders and everything. But thank you so much for watching.